Hi everyone, welcome to Front of the Grid, where today we'll be discussing news about F1 sweetheart Danny Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo has recently announced he will join Red Bull as their third driver for the 2023 Formula One season. Normally news of a third-seat driver wouldn't be making headlines, but this will mark the return of Ricciardo to Red Bull after what many consider to be a controversial goodbye. Ricciardo was a part of Red Bull Racing between 2014 and 2018, leaving him with 7 Grand Prix victories. He then made the controversial decision to leave Red Bull after too much focus was being placed on his teammate and now world champion Max Verstappen. Many have questioned his decision to leave, as Ricciardo then joined Renault in 2019 for 2 years with limited success, and later switched to McLaren in 2021 where he struggled to keep up with his teammate Lando Norris. Despite McLaren's first win at Monza thanks to Ricciardo, it looked like at the end of 2022 season, our fan favorite Danny would be away from the grid during 2023. Several seats were available for the end of the season, but Ricciardo indicated he would prefer to join a top team as a reserve driver with the opportunity to return to a more competitive car in 2024. Ricciardo then began to attract 2 heavyweight teams, Mercedes and Red Bull, for the reserve driver position. These roles would have given Ricciardo the chance to be involved in a race weekend if something were to happen to one of the other 2 drivers. While it is unlikely, it is not impossible, as the 2022 season saw 2 teams, Haas and Aston Martin, using reserve drivers at the beginning of the season. When the dust settled, Ricciardo decided to join his former team Red Bull and join his old teammate Max Verstappen. While this role would only involve testing, simulator work, and commercial duties, and not a reserve driver role, Red Bull was open to different possibilities in the future. Regarding the return to Red Bull, Danny has said that it is truly excited to be coming back home, and that having the ability to contribute and be surrounded by the best team in F1 is hugely appealing, whilst also giving him some time to recharge and refocus. While it would be great to have Danny around the sport in the coming year, it is unlikely he'll be on the grid in 2023. Only time will tell whether Ricciardo's original departure from Red Bull was worth it, and how his time now at Red Bull will help him in the future. In the meantime, there is still plenty to discuss when it comes to Danny Ricciardo and his F1 career, especially entering the 2023 season and the 2023 season itself. Now, it's going to be interesting, the fan relationship that we have with Daniel Ricciardo, as he is not on the grid for the first time since nearly 2014. Now, Daniel Ricciardo has become a fan favorite amongst not only F1 fans, but sports fans in general. When people think of F1, Daniel Ricciardo is sometimes the first name that comes to mind, and not having that face on the grid might not only be a negative for Ricciardo, but also a negative for the sport itself. What I think we all can hope for here is that Ricciardo is able to take the time he needs to really rest and rejuvenate and get back into the sport at full force. I think that's what everyone wants, especially in a situation like this. Hopefully there is no issue with him getting a seat coming the 2024 season. There most likely will be shakeups regardless on the grid, so hopefully Danny is able to sneak in to one of those seats with a team that will give him the best chance to actually contend at a world championship that he's so desperately been seeking. The last time we saw him really at championship form was when he was at Red Bull between 2014 and 2018. So again, we're going to have to wait and see how this shakes up with Ricciardo. Maybe we will get to see his face on the grid come 2023. But in the meantime, I think we can all rest assured that he's going to be putting in the work and the effort that's going to take him to the grid in 2024.